This club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0. Sorry for smiling there.
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Ooh, United lose 1-0 to Arsenal at home. Arsenal, who are still technically in the fight for the title against City. And woof, season ends next weekend, sir, right around the corner. Today's performance, United, makeshift team, a lot of big injuries out, notably Bruno Fernandes. That back line was a riot with Casemiro and Evans, the old man crew doing their thing. And United, we lost 1-0, but I feel like Arsenal was there to be had. They didn't play that well, but we didn't play that well, and we had no cutting edge at all. Couldn't create anything. And once again, I think Bruno's a mission. I think he plays in this game. I think we maybe walk away with a point, but United couldn't create nothing. But hey, Ahmad looked good, Onana looked good, and Kobe Mainoo looked good, so they'll all be here next season. I don't know if the bald guy will be, but hey, nothing funnier than seeing Old Trafford leaking, seeing United's defense leaking. Jim Ratcliffe's like, what have I done? He's got a project here.
I could find some things funnier than all the things you just mentioned because, man, this has been a rough season. And look, I thought we would get embarrassed. I think there was a moment there after the Arsenal goal where there was blood in the water and they were looking for number 2. Could have turned into 3-4. But then United roared back, some little fight in the lads. The manager finally changed it, finally started a mod, and it works. We said so many times on the podcast, when he changes it up, it usually works. We've been really stubborn in the lead up to this game. But the fact that we didn't get embarrassed is a huge positive, and we get nothing from this game. No points. We lose. The record for home loss is insane. -4 goal differential, 8th in the table. Everything's bad, but we're happy we didn't get absolutely cooked by Arsenal. That tells you where we are as United fans, given that we are the biggest, most famous, and most amazing club in the entire world, sir. And so it's one of those where it's let's land this plane, let's get to the summer, and then we can start speculating like Muppets that all of our problems are going to be solved by Ineos and co.
I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of speculation this summer. There's going to be a lot of Muppetry because we don't even know who their sources are going to be. Usually there's a historic track record of who their sources are for each manager. And sometimes when, the CEO changed, there was a little bit of a shift there. Now, a whole new regime is in charge. So there's going to be so much bullshit being thrown at us. They're going to assume they're going to spend money left, right, and center. But I have to agree. It's this is the worst season for United in the modern era, right? Since the inception of the Premier League. Obviously not as bad as the early 70s when they got relegated, but this is it. This is the worst since Fergie, since Fergie, certainly. So either way, nearly there. Would have liked to have something to hold on to in terms of flipping this switch, give us some hope for the FA Cup final. At this point, I think it's just getting through the season. Like you said, let's get through the season. Let's get through Wembley. Hopefully, also not going to embarrass. Maybe pip them. One can hope, and then have a productive summer because it should be a very busy summer.
And at one point, Arsenal beating us at home, fans would be pissed. I don't even think fans are pissed. I mean, that's what's even crazy about it's we're being lulled to sleep about how horrible this season's been so bad, and it's Arsenal's going to beat us at home, do the double on United, and there's literally no banter. We have an Arsenal, a friend who's an Arsenal fan, no banter. It's not even fun. Because we're so shit. And so I think that just speaks to hey, let's just try to get through Newcastle, Brighton, and then the FA Cup final without just absolutely getting smashed. Hopefully Crystal Palace was the low. It looks like Ineos is going to ride this Eric Ten Hag train all the way to the end of the season. I don't know what they're going to get out of doing that. I would like maybe an Ole final, have him wear the leprechaun suit to the FA Cup final, just some juice, something, because right now we don't have a lot, and if you get rid of the Dutchman, then the season's gonna cost you the same amount of money. This is one of those things where I think they're just trying to steady the ship. Let's see how it goes. But 1-0 against Arsenal looked better today. maybe Newcastle, you could get a win. Maybe Brighton, you can get a result. Maybe we could play the same way against City. But for some reason, I feel like City is looking to curb stomp us in the FA Cup final. Like Pep's looking to get mean. One of these teams, I feel, is going to come for our throat. They see us wounded, and they could get a big result. And that does hurt as a United fan, so I am a little worried about that.
And I think that's City. I think, at home against Newcastle, it's the best team we have left in the league. They're in upturned form, right? We were laughing because even how bad we were still ahead of Chelsea. We were still ahead of Newcastle. That's changed now. We are firmly.
I think that was you. I think
well,
you were.
I was just looking.
You
at
were
the
really
points.
enjoying that.
I was enjoying it until I didn't anymore, and now, who's laughing? Not me. There's not a lot to laugh about this Manchester United season. But like you said, like City. They got denied their treble. They wanted back-to-back trebles, make a big deal of that. They're not going to the Champions League final, of course, and they're going to want to embarrass United in the FA Cup. So it always made sense based on what we've seen to India today that they're going to just ride the ship to the end and then make a move in the summer. They know that if you do make a change, what goes with it? Okay, you get a fresh start, but you also get like a torrential wave of bullshit that comes out inevitably every time a manager is fired. That's still going to come in the summer when he does get the axe. But maybe they're looking to avoid that.
He
before
might
the
not
end of
get.
the season.
He might not get the
I
axe.
think he
There's
will.
mixed messages.
We're
in the
hearing
press.
both. We're hearing both.
Where you're hearing.
Feels like axe.
Feels like there aren't a lot of great options out there.
No, there aren't. But there never are, right? There's always more people looking for top managers than there are top managers at any given moment.
But, sir, quick PSA for the podcast. You like the American Red Devils. We are for fans by fans. If you're still listening at this point in the season with the team in 8th, 2 games to play, you are the MVP. Big shout out to you. And if you want to go the extra mile to support us, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Tons of behind the scenes episodes. We do 1 additional episode every single month. Other benefits as well. Please check it out. Sign up. Support independent fan content. That's not your thing. AmericanDevils.store. We have the Eric Ten Hag Red Army scarf on sale, $4.99. Support the man. All proceeds go to the Bald Man's charity. the charity supporting the Bald Man Support Charity, which is called Alex at the American Red Devils. So look, check out our store. We have tons of other things there as well. Also, blog at AmericanDevils.com. Tons of great fan content, sir. Tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews are a great way to support the pod. Helps us get found organically by other top Muppets like yourself. And we're still giving away free merch. All you have to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Send a screenshot of that review to AmericanDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address. And I will pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gears and right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great review from Irish Ohioan. The best Manchester United news from this side of the pod. Absolutely love this pod. The boys definitely know Man United through and through. As an American fan, it can be difficult to connect with the Premier League at times, but after finding this podcast, I have felt more connected than ever. I especially love the fact that John and Alex always give the fan take with the American perspective. Keep up the good work.
There's too much freedom in this podcast bunker not to give the American perspective. Let's go.
Too much. Let's go.
American Red Devils. That's right. We're talking Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1, Old Trafford. Onana in net. Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, Johnny Evans, Delo, backline, Mainu, Amrabat, McTominay, midfield, Diallo on the right, Garnacho on the left, and Højlund up top. How are we feeling about that 11?
You know, we always knew we were going to get a makeshift back 4, so not any big surprises there. I was excited to see Ahmad, happy that he finally got a start, to pit him against one of the best in the league.
How do you look? How do you look compared to that other bum?
I thought he looked quite good. I thought he's very two-footed. I think he's a player that offers a lot, and the more he plays, the better he'll look. So I hope Ahmad gets a chance next year with whoever our new manager is.
He will get a chance without a shadow of a doubt.
As
and
he
I have
should.
no idea why the manager would not play him.
Well, we know why he doesn't play him because we've seen this manager and the mistakes he makes, and that's playing his boys through and through. And he's been playing Anthony too much. Anyway, Amrabat and McTominay, that's the thing that gave me concern. But I was like, that maybe could do a job if we're looking to just kind of counter and pack it in. But what do you think when you saw this 11?
Casemiro cannot play center back. It is very clear he cannot do it. He cannot do it against Crystal Palace. And, why are you playing him there?
because we don't have anyone else.
You could put Wan-Bissaka there. You could play McTominay there. He does play in a back three. It's for Scotland.
McSauce would be interesting. And you play
It's
Eriksen
insane. This is so clear. It's like so clear that you can't do it. It's like there's nothing about watching Crystal Palace and that game that you can put him at center back again.
He was better today, to be honest, other than the goal. That was a terrible goal.
Other than the reason we lost.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
he was better. I
gave him 4. Gave him 1 today.
It's being stubborn. That's the whole problem with Erik ten Hag. Is that he's so stubborn. He's stubborn with Anthony. He won't play Ahmad. Ahmad plays his first start, looks lights out. Like, how are you keeping this kid on the bench? Casemiro, he looked horrible. Cannot play center back at Crystal Palace. You play him here. He cost us the game. It's simple stuff, and I just feel like it takes too long to figure it out. Takes too long to adjust. And like he should have adjusted the Crystal Palace Casemiro center back call at halftime against Crystal Palace. And then he's playing him again here. Don't love it. And did it cost us? Let's get into the first half, sir. We came out. We had a decent amount of the ball, but Arsenal would get their goal in the 20th minute to Casemiro's error.
This hung over Arsenal. Havertz here, still onside. Evans backpedaling. Trossard! Havertz just went around Johnny Evans with ease. Leandro Trossard with a hugely important goal in the title race.
Boy, that's a bad kit. Boy, that is a bad kit. Adidas, another crime against kits.
Oh, you know what they do? They don't make great kits. Speaking of, it matches the defending on this goal. Just story of the season. You know, like we have the numbers. We're in a decent position. Obviously, Casemiro plays Arsenal onside in a way that wouldn't happen if he was an actual center back. But just like we have numbers, nobody's moving to the ball. It's terrible defending. Cutback City, we've seen that all season. Tale of the 23-24 year is that goal being conceded in the way it was.
The way Casemiro after he shows for the ball, he's got to move up, plays him onside, and then like the effort on the Havertz cross was like extraordinarily low. And by the way, he showed you he cannot play there last game. I have to say that like almost got it right. Like the Ahmad start, amazing, and then Casemiro at center back. I am literally like, what are we doing? And there you go, 20th minute.
He's stubborn.
But United, I felt like there was blood in the water after this goal. We did fight back, had a lot of possession in their half, didn't get a shot in the first half, but United looked like we were trying to build towards something, but that final pass was off. Again, like Højlund got the ball in a great spot, back to goal, right where you would want it as a striker, 1v1 on the center back, and literally like, but up, kicked it to the other team. Like, this is just a little disjointed in attack without Bruno Fernandes, but I'm not saying that, like, you know, Højlund playing up front as an alone striker, it's not looking great, you know, at this point. He is young. That money, though, I just have to point that out because he did have some chances and opportunities, bad touches all around for Højlund.
Yeah, he's been in a tough run of things, and he's playing probably one of the best. He's playing the best center back pairing in the league at the moment, right? They've given up the least amount of goals. He did get manhandled quite a bit today. Didn't look his best, but like you said, we had a lot of possession, a lot more going into this. Coming out of this game than you would think going into it, and it was just that cutting edge, like right on the edge of the box. We didn't get those balls in, whipping in like you always see with Bruno Fernandes creating 5, 6, 7 chances a game. So like. Garnacho was being threatening, but he had nowhere to go. There was no overlapping runs really with Delo because I think he was defensively minded. Ahmad was doing stuff, but AWB wasn't getting forward. There was no punch. There was no end to it. So a lot of possession, but no cutting edge, no threat really.
Yeah, and Rooney said it in the post game. It's like a collection of individuals. It really felt like that. I think we had a great build up, and then Delo takes a shot from like 35 yards.
I couldn't believe that.
It's just like, what are you doing? Højlund gets a sniff of goal and slips and chunks it over the goal.
That was a good chance.
He gets his, like, again, it just felt like we were being wasteful, not being able to get that final pass, not being able to get that final shot off. It was a little sloppy from United going forward. And look, we got youngsters up there to be expected, so you can't like kill them, but it's disappointing that this far in the season that we're not seeing a little more on that final product. Second half, United come out. Again, same theme. Onana did come up with some big saves. I felt like Arsenal here really could have made 2 or 3. 64th minute, Arsenal on the counter. Odegaard with a good curling effort. Another great save from Onana, who's coming into good form. 70th minute, Anthony came on for an injured Ahmad. He would not do much. 77th minute, decent chance for United. McTominay found Garnacho, who had a curling effort, went just wide, and then 79th minute, great save from Onana. This was on Declan Rice. So Arsenal, I think Martinelli also had another great chance as well. It was the Declan Rice shot, Martinelli chance, and the Odegaard effort in the second half. I thought that Martinelli chance should have gone in, and even the Declan Rice one. So Onana was pretty sharp, helped United avoid further embarrassment. And then the 87th minute sub, Eriksson, Forsen, and Wheatley for Hoyland, AWB, and Amrabat. Amrabat had a decent game. The midfield held, which I thought was good, but again, the attack was not there.
He had one big slip, but I thought ultimately, he actually had one of his better games considering how poor, unfortunately, his tenure at Manchester United has been this season. I thought Eriksson should have come on a little earlier, right? We weren't creating anything. I was like, I didn't even realize he was on the bench because we just needed somebody to put some balls over the top that don't go right to the goalie or miss the box altogether. So the manager's stubborn. It's going to be his demise. It's going to lead to his demise. That's probably led to his demise. So that's what you get today. There was some, like he showed a little glimpses of changing things up, the Ahmad, like you said, but he didn't go all the way. And you need to be flexible to be a successful manager, especially when you have as many injuries as we've had this season, which he also might be responsible for.
Yeah, and look, that was all she wrote for United. We lost 1-0 to Arsenal. And you make a great point. When it comes to managers, like what we saw Ole at the end, he was chopping and changing too much. As a manager, when you're on the block, you can change too much and you can change too little. And so there's sort of a balance. The porridge has to be just right, sir, when it comes to how you manage tactics here. XG, 0.75 to United to 1.8 to Arsenal, so we have no complaints losing there. Shots on target, we had 2. That's not enough at home. Arsenal had 5. We had 55% of the ball. They had 45%. I didn't really think we were threatening, though. I didn't feel like Arsenal were up against it. United were knocking on the door. I do think it's probably a fair result, maybe 1 or 2-0 to Arsenal, but they are the better team by about almost 30 points. Oh. If we get into the table, Manchester United, where does this leave us? It leaves us in 8th. Two
left. Only 2 games left. We've done 36 games in the league.
2 more games in this season now.
Almost there.
Tell you.
Almost
there. I got to land this plane.
3 more games all day.
Last 5. Lost 2. Drawn 2. 1.
No, it's terrible.
1. And I don't need to tell you who the teams that we drew. 54 points for United. -4 goal differential. Absolutely horrific. Absolutely. West Ham scored more goals than Manchester United. Brighton have scored more goals than Manchester United. I could go farther down the table. Chelsea, cooking. They have more than 21 goals more than Manchester United. 57 points for Chelsea. 57 points for Newcastle. They are playing for something. The European football. Tottenham, 63 points. They're on the bubble with Villa, 67 points. Liverpool, 78. City, 85. Arsenal, 86. Who cares who wins the league, sir?
Who cares?
At the end of the day, Manchester United is just a dumpster fire.
I just can't wait for Dan Ashworth to get in and start cleaning up this mess because there's a lot to clean up this season. It's 8th place, and you know what? It could get worse. We could have even West Ham if we go winless for the rest of the season, which we might. We might pick up 0 points over our last 2 games. So it feels that bad. It is that bad. The football is that bad.
It's worse than Rangnick.
Yes, it is. I'm agreeing with that. This is the worst Manchester United season in the modern era. Since the Premier League started, 92, this is the worst season we've ever had. It feels like the worst season we've ever had. It's been the longest shit season we've ever had. Usually, we get waves of shit. We get a season of shit. Usually get I mean by a season, I meant like a 4-season year. We get 3 months of shit. They fire a guy. Someone else comes in. And it kind of muzzles along, but it's better than the shit we had before. This has just been shit football for 9
since
10
Wolves.
months.
Since Wolves.
No,
literally
since
we kicked off. We kicked off against Wolves, and it was like what?
So
it was
this is the floor.
And
this is the floor.
And now it's May.
Go to the stats.
That was August, and now it's May. We were literally okay, well, we're gonna figure it out.
Did not figure it out.
And that's when you try to you're saying worst season in the modern era, and it's this stat. I think it's worst season. It's not the worst season
since the
ever.
Early 70s. It's the worst season.
But I mean, you could say
70s.
if you're gonna be top 10 worst seasons, it's in there. This is. This is up there for United. I mean, in the, obviously this century. But this is getting up there because Manchester United has had 9 defeats at home. In all competitions, they never lost more at home in a single campaign in their history They also had 9 in 1920-21, 1930-31, 33-34, 62-63, and 73-74. We could lose 10, and it'd be like...
We probably will lose 10.
Newcastle beats us?
Let's hear the...
We're setting new records here, sir. And that ain't just
I said
the modern
worst.
era.
It's the worst since the
That
70s.
ain't- but
It's the worst
that ain't
season
modern era.
in 50 years, bro.
9 L's at home. By the way, we got to see one of them. It's absolutely brutal. And the worst European campaign in the club's history. Manchester United have now conceded 82 goals across all competitions, their most in a single season since 70-71. I mean, this is getting... The argument for Ten Hag and the players versus the manager and the structure and all this bullshit that everyone's been talking about for months is such a boring discussion. It's like, yes, I do agree with everything that's being said. I do agree that every manager would fail, but this is failure to a level that is like the numbers show you like red lights flashing,
where we are as
which
a
means you
club.
can have bluffers as players and you can have a manager who literally is just like whatever and can't figure it out. Like you can have a manager who's out of his depth and players who don't want to play for him as well. So everyone's to blame is my thesis.
No, the
Fire
problem is he's still
everybody.
trying.
And it's like, this is horrific.
Rangnick stopped trying, and I think the players were like, well, at least he doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yes.
No, Erik ten Hag is like, he's going to die. He's going to go down the ship, bro. He's the captain of the Titanic. He's going down all the way because he still thinks, because he's a stubborn Dutch bastard, that he's going to keep his job. He probably thinks, and probably has told him, bro, like, you got it. You got it. And, because that's what they got to do. They got to keep him motivated. And it's funny because Rangnick was just like, fuck this. In like April, he was like, this team doesn't give a shit. I'm going to play like Alanga, people who I know will work hard. He's still digging in, and that's probably to his demise. And that's why I think it's the worst season in the modern era, 50 years.
In my lifetime.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
Here we go, Erik ten Hag.
Yeah, I don't like actually reactions, but you have to be always there. You have to always be spot on when you are Man United. But yeah, if it happens, you need a reaction, and the players they gave the reaction. Yes.
So what's the thing about keeping Casemiro at centre back? You had some other options that you could play there today, but was he just the freshest, or were the other players not ready to play there?
I didn't have options.
Kambuala?
I was not fit. Just returning from injury is not fit to start.
Did you consider McTominay there, because he's playing centre back for the club?
I haven't seen it, but what I heard was not always a success, and I think he's better in that advanced position, higher on the pitch, and also there we had our problems.
Erik ten Hag started the game with one positive today. Is that right wing position his to lose now?
I think Ahmad deserved it. There was a lot of competition in that position, so he was injured a long time. He built himself back. And he deserved it. But with across the season with Garnacho, with Anthony, we have options there. Rashford played there as well. But today I found he deserved this position, and I think he played very good. Did what we expected him to do. He was brave, he was creative, defended very good. So I was pleased with his performance.
All right, sir, what do you make of the manager's comments?
So he's the same guy we've seen for 2 years. He's not backing down. He's gonna say what he's gonna say. I don't think we got a response today. We did have issues with injuries, of course we did, but like you could switch things up. I don't know, bro. I don't care that much about his press conferences at this point.
No, it's like
we're going through the emotions at the end of the season.
I don't have any options at center back. I
Well, he
can't play a
does.
back three, and I can't put McTominay there. I can't put AWB. It's very kind of like very rigid and then like defensive posturing. And same with Ahmad. It's like, oh, he's been injured. It's like, no, he's been healthy, and you haven't been starting him for a long time. It just gets to that thing where he's not being honest. And like last season, I think he was like almost too honest. This season, he's kind of getting a little chippy and defensive. And again, you lose the game. I don't call it a reaction, but
he knows his time's up. He knows it's over. He's fighting for his life. I wouldn't want to be in his position, but he also he would have gotten another year if he was a little bit more flexible and like you said, more honest. He's been gaslighting the fans the whole season, basically. We've gotten glimpses of honesty, but otherwise, he's been blowing smoke, telling us we've been better than we have. The injuries, he's probably contributing to by being too hard on the players. There's a load. And then you're starting to hear the same stories that we heard years later about Van Gaal, which is these like the weird Dutch idiosyncrasies where they're in these fucking meetings over and over again. And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of performative meetings and like more analysis than these guys even can handle. Analysis paralysis. It's just same shit, bro. It's the same shit that we've seen, different flavors, all these other managers. You know, little Dutch, little stubborn.
Yeah, it's with the Casemiro. It's just like, hey, I thought he was the best player to do the job, and it wasn't, and he made a mistake. And
he always makes the right decision.
and that's on me
He never
because
owns it.
I backed him to fix what I saw at Crystal Palace, and he didn't, and it cost us today. And that's on me. I'm the manager. I own it. And it's like, it says a little chippy. I just feel like that shows you like the it's kind of showing you the headspace of the man and kind of what's going on. And it's understandable too. The guy is the coach of the most famous football club in the world, and people are throwing shots at him. He's up there dodging those tomatoes, bro. Like, it's like
He's getting tomatoes.
I mean, the presser they give you the tomatoes, but they're like soft. They're soft tomatoes, not like the hard ripe ones they're chucking at you. So
Yeah, rotten tomatoes.
rotten tomatoes, sir. Let's get into it. We have Newcastle coming to Old Trafford. You thought 9 losses at home.
10, baby. 10. Fucking 10.
10. Let's go. Old Trafford, Wednesday, May 15th, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you wanted Manchester United to cheer you up on Wednesday, here we go. Lifetime versus Newcastle, 91. Drawn, 41. Lost, 46. First time we played them, we beat Newcastle as Newton Heath, 1895, 5-1. Last 5, lost 3. 1-1, which was the EFL final, and we drawn 1. So look, we did get that trophy. We did pip them, but Newcastle has been rising in the ranks. Tough season this year, but they're finishing strong. United dying. Are Newcastle going to finish this off, or are we going to fight back? Eddie Howe's men, they get injuries too. How are they going to cope? I don't know. Last 5, Newcastle cooked Tottenham 4-0. Crystal Palace beat them up 2-0. They beat Sheffield United 5-1. Burnley 4-1. And they drew Brighton. What does that mean for Manchester United, sir?
It means they're in a decent bit of form, and they're going to come licking. They hate us, bro. They think we're a rival. We're not a rival. No one cares about Newcastle, but they don't like Manchester United because we took a trophy from them, which would have been, their first trophy in 70 years. So they want to come. They want to finish above us. Eddie Howe doesn't like United, as he shouldn't. So if we don't show up, it could be a lot worse than it was today, because a mad Newcastle with a United that doesn't even show up against a Newcastle United last home game this season could get ugly.
You're an Eddie Howe fan.
No, I'm not Eddie.
You wanted him at United.
No, I did not want him at United. I said he was a good coach.
At one point, I thought you wanted him.
I never want. He's not United caliber, bro. He's like a Newcastle, get him to the top 6, top 8 kind of thing. He's a decent manager.
He's likable. I like.
They've outgrown him.
I like him.
They've outgrown him. I like Sean Dyche more. I'd rather have Sean Dyche at United. He's chewing out the players. Look what he's done in Everton.
Sean Dyche, you heard it here. You heard it.
Honestly, this team in the interim with all these fucking bluffers, that's what you need. You need a manager that's just gonna put.
I don't know. I don't think anyone knows what we need, unfortunately. Because Manchester United is just like an enigma,
a mess.
You know the nickname, Newcastle Bonesaw FC. They got that from the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, who own them.
Not involved with the government. No, totally different. Totally separate.
Obviously, hailing from the north of England, wearing the black and white referee shirts. Their main rivals are Sunderland, who they compete the Tyne-Wear Derby, and it is intense. We've been up to Sunderland Till I Die. Great Netflix series if you haven't watched it, but the area is basically the same. So Newcastle love their football. They are enjoying this strong finish, rising up the table towards the end of the season. United floundering. They're going to be coming in playing the 4-3-3. Longstaff hit a few bangers against us. Anthony Gordon is in form. Isaac doing well, back from injury, and Bruno Guimaraes, who people are huge fans of. And now Dubravka moonlighted at Manchester United for half a season. Look, they got some good players. They're going to be, they are in form. It's going to be a tough challenge for Manchester United.
They're going to come to play. Like I said, they're going to come. They want to embarrass United. Everybody wants to embarrass United, but Newcastle especially.
Everybody wants a piece of this embarrassment.
They do. Of course they do.
Everybody wants to
We used to embarrass
smack us
teams for decades, and now they want to embarrass us because they're looking down at us at the moment. And City are going to want to do the same 1 week from next Sunday. So either way, the only way we get any kind of result against City is if we figure something out. which I don't think we're going to happen. So I don't think we're going to get anything from City, and I don't think we're going to get anything from these last 2 games. So I just get me through the pain, sir. Get me through the pain. How about that injury list?
The only way we get a result against City is we survive wave after wave after wave of
Onana has a
attack,
game.
and then
Onana
like
has a
Rashford's
game.
back and hits him on the break. That's really
That's it.
only hope. Injuries, obviously, huge theme. Excuse Factory churning it out. If you heard the word injuries, that is what every United fan has been saying.
Well, there are a lot of injuries.
There are a lot of
Why are
injuries.
there so many injuries? At this point, the Mount getting hurt again, it's like something's up. Something is not right that we have all these injuries. Doesn't make sense.
I agree, but like a lot of teams have a lot of injuries. You know, it's like if you
I'm blaming it on the coach, sir.
Manchester
I'm not
United probably have
blaming
the
it on the
most
players.
of all the teams, but lots of teams deal with injuries. They do not play as bad as Manchester United. Malacia, Luke Shaw, Harry Magoo, Martinez. He wanted to play against Arsenal. They didn't let him. Kambwala was back today. McTominay was back today, but Varane's out. Martial is out. Bruno was out. Lindelof is out. Rashford is out. And Mason Mount is out. Injuries mounting, and you know what's really interesting was what Rooney had to say about injuries is that, you know, the Euros around the corner and some players are resting up. So there is speculation around, hey, maybe they're looking for the final. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of players are all back and fit for the FA Cup final.
But who is on that list other than Magoo, maybe? What? Rashford, Bruno? Like, those are the only guys that, well, Scott, I don't know if Scotland's even going to the tournament, but like, those are the only, you know, Shaw's not going for England. Malacia's not going. Varane's not going. Martial's not going. There's definitely something to be said there.
Rashford is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
I
Rashford.
think is
Magoo,
what he was
maybe,
trying to say.
Bruno.
Given those injuries, what is your starting 11?
I think he's going to be the same 11 as today, sir. Onana, AWB, Evans, Casemiro, Delo, Amrabat, Kobe, McTominay. But he's going to make one change. He's going to do Anthony for Ahmad, so we can all be overjoyed in that. And then Højlund and Garnacho.
I'm going to say the same 11. He's going to start Ahmad again. He deserves he has a knock. I don't think it'll be that serious. And then you're going to get Kambwala in for Casemiro, and Aramba is going to take a seat. So you're going to see the Casemiro, McTominay, Kobe midfield with Kambwala at center back. Sir, given those the odds, what is... give me the odds. Booking the bookies.
United, the underdog, slightly, plus 165 at home, plus 300 for the draw, plus 1... That's like easy money.
You got to be kidding
Plus
me.
135.
Newcastle are favorites?
Of course they are favorites. They're above us in the table. They're playing much better than
At
we are.
home, this is not a normal thing. This is crazy.
Nothing's normal. We're in 8th place.
Okay,
That
give
is
me this is just brutal. Give me the score prediction.
3-0, Newcastle.
Oh my God, this is just I can't do it. I can't predict another loss, sir. It's got to be 2-2 draw.
There you go.
2-2 draw.
Could happen.
Like it is. Come on.
Could happen.
Hey, if you ever wanted to know what it was like rooting for a mid-table side, here we are.
Yeah, we're there. Enjoy it.
Here,
Enjoy it.
here
we'll be back.
we-
We'll be back in 3 to 5 to 10 short years. There we
Here
go.
we
Some
are.
news. Here we are. We're in the gutter.
United in the news.
Tell you what, that stadium.
Breaking news.
Oh my gosh.
It rains. Old Trafford leaks. The image is on social media. Brutal.
A river through the stands.
If you thought the number 8 next to the badge made Manchester United look bad, the stadium looking like it might fall down.
I think we're going full rebuild. I think we're gonna not do a reno. I think we're doing full rebuild. I mean, that's
No,
the
it's
answer.
a rebuild.
You
No, they
you
actually
have
had
to
a
rebuild.
meeting.
You have to rebuild it. It's like structurally, it's probably not viable.
So they had a meeting. Mayor of Manchester was there, photographed, and they had a meeting before the game about redevelopment and the new Old Trafford. And I really think this is picking up steam. Public development project in Manchester, rebuild Old Trafford, redo the waterfront. I mean, this has to be. Alex and I were discussing this earlier. You look at Old Trafford, Manchester United as a draw for the region.
Right.
The trains coming up from London, everyone coming to town, 80,000 people, you know, and it's like, it's unbelievable. And you can't take a train to get to Old Trafford. To get from Old Trafford to the train station is like bus, Uber, taxi. Like you can't, like there's no sidewalk, people walking on the highway. You and me have done that, like literally walking on the side of the highway in Manchester. Like to get out of there at night. It's insane. There's no infrastructure. There should literally just be like a tram taking people to the center of town, to the stadium.
2 stops.
It's the number one
2 stops.
attraction. Like, what else are people driving up to Manchester for? You know, I mean, like, honestly, like, what are the attractions? There is an arena, so like on certain events, but that's like closer to the center of town. Old Trafford is like so far away from the center and the train station and it's like it needs to be redone, this whole thing. It's like you should be able to go there, get public transport out to the stadium after the game as well. It's very clunky, and that area needs to be redeveloped as well.
No, I mean, I 100% agree. They're the biggest team in the world, and also like we're a big draw for the region. Now, I know public development money is not nearly as widely accepted as it is in the United States. Very common for U.S. sports franchises to like have the local municipality or state throw in tax-free dollars to help finance stadiums. That is much less popular in England, based on what I've seen on Twitter, which makes sense because it's not as prevalent. But like, it would make sense. The whole area would benefit by like fixing it up, redeveloping it, making it a marquee destination so people spend money before, after, they spend the night nearby. It's like it all kind of, you know, rising tide lifts all boats. So it makes sense to do it. I can't believe they haven't done it. Let's see Jim. Let's see if he can pull the strings in the, you know, the political side of things, because that's a whole nother animal that you got to manage.
Yeah, I mean, you look at. I was actually discussing this with my wife. Our good friend went to us. Our good friend Mike, the Scouse Bastard fan, went with us to Old Trafford. He couldn't believe how desolate the stadium was. And it's just, I told my wife, it's like literally troughs that you can piss in and then they leak all over the floor. There's like literally nothing there. Like in America, I remember going to old Yankee Stadium and it was like bare bones, steel everywhere. It's kind of like not nice. And then now the new Yankee Stadium, family friendly, snacks, merch everywhere. You know, it's just, it's changed, right? So sports in America, I think, have evolved sooner than they have in England. They're still kind of these like rundown or kind of bare bones stadiums that have less attraction for families. And I think you kind of have to build something with that vision at Old Trafford, because you go to a new Yankee Stadium, you feel like you're in 2024. You go to Old Trafford, you feel like you're in 1983.
No, and that's like something that's fun about England is going to the old stadiums, because they got a lot of character, like going to the QPR Stadium and the Millwall Stadium and the Watford Stadium. It's just like, that's fun, the Palace Stadium, but United should have.
Yeah,
the
United,
biggest club in the
right.
world, the most valuable, look, it came out this week, most valuable most valuable soccer football club in the world is Manchester United. Manchester United should have a stadium matching the other ones that are in the top of the tier. The one right behind us is Real Madrid. They just did a $1 billion plus reno of the Bernabeu. It is gorgeous. We should have a gorgeous stadium. I know some fans, the old school, the hardcores, it pisses them off to go to Hollywood and to Mickey Mouse, but like, people want nice shit. You should have like places where you can go and drink.
You want
and
nice
buy
players.
stuff.
You need Mickey Mouse, bro. Like that's the whole idea.
That pays
you
the
need
bills.
Max.
It
Yeah,
pays
exactly.
the bills, because like big, I hate to say it, tourists come in, they're willing to spend more money because they're visiting, and it's not an every week occasion. And you also supplement that with having lots of local fans as well. But like
how many Yankees hats do I see when I go to the UK, bro? What am I going to go
More
yell
than
at?
United hats.
Here's the thing. Like, you got to get used to Sports International. In the UK, they got this thing where they don't want anyone to root for their
No, they
team,
don't.
and
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Very kind of Jersey. It was way Jerseyer when you and me started going to games in the 2000s. But like the idea that Yankees attract fans from all over the world. By the way, they all go to Yankee Stadium. No one's like hating on people that aren't from the Bronx. Like, nobody cares. Like, at the end of the day, it's this weird thing that in the UK, like, rooting for a team is hyper regional, and then they don't want to share it with the rest of the world, even though that's how they make all their money. It's very counterintuitive. And as Americans, from the American Red Devil perspective, right, I've definitely felt that type of resistance. But once they know you know the songs, you're in. I mean, that's really the ticket, is kind of like, hey, can you sing? Do you know the songs? Do you know the history of the club? Once everyone checks that box, then you're in the club. Happened multiple times when we've gone away with fans or whatever, and they've known that we're from America. But it's just the idea that when you have this, it should be a commercial center. The history should be in the landscape. There should be places to stay, places to eat. The stadium should be unbelievable, and it should have a little more of that like new Yankee Stadium vibe, family friendly, very commercial forward, and helping the club generate the revenue to get us out of the Glazers' debt, so that we can buy players and then win Champions League after Champions League after Champions League in my lifetime.
Keep hoping, sir.
Because We got to pass the Scouts Masters and Champions League titles. Like, that's what I want.
We have
that's
a lot
what I
of
want
years
for
left.
Christmas, Santa, if you're listening.
We got a lot of years left. They're going to have to go through their own rebuild. I agree. We're biased. We're Americans, but like the blowback that John's talking about is totally true. It's gotten better. We used to get it more from like the neutral, even like the neutrals. If you were like into football 20 years ago, you would get shit for some reason. Be like, it's kind of our sport. Now it's gone fully global. But you still get it when we travel with the away fans. Like, they are very suspicious. They can spot a yank a mile away. They know we're not from we're not from the neighborhood. But like you said, as soon as you know the away songs, you're good as gold. But either way, in order to finance the best team in the world, you need to have enough ability to have commercial success. And part of that is having a sick stadium that everyone wants to visit to and spend money on.
NFL games in Old Trafford. That's sick,
coming.
right? Like, I just,
and it's the stadium's such a dump right now.
multi-use-
They can't even do a Taylor Swift concert, right? They can't even do a big event.
We don't need to go that far.
I'm
I
just
said
talking about making
NFL.
money.
I said
making
let's
money.
go.
NFL. I don't care.
NFL,
Concert. We make
football,
money.
baby.
We make money. We own the stadium.
Taylor Swift. I'm
just making a point
Big
that
Taylor
like,
Swift fan
yeah,
over here.
Okay.
This guy.
I love it.
Like, catch this
I
guy
like
singing
money,
her
baby.
new album out
I
here.
like money, baby. I like team money. Team money for Manchester United. That's how we're going to be able to finance a team. That's how we're going to be able to get out of the debt, is like making cash. That's it. I hate to say it, but that's just the reality.
All right, we got an article on the mood of the locker room at Old Trafford. Sir, walk us through this one.
Well, your classic end of days is coming out. We're hearing stuff about how everyone's at rock bottom. The atmosphere, we heard this every time. The atmosphere is the worst it's ever been. It's the worst since Ole. It's the worst since Jose. It's the worst since Rangnick. Which is probably true to a certain extent. But I think what's really interesting was that the stories about the stuff that is too odd to not be true. There was stuff about like the tactical meetings he does 3 times a week. They're super in depth. I think he's such a rigid, stubborn manager. We've seen this happen before. We heard it's all about Van Gaal. Rooney talked about how like he was a great manager, but he did all this other shit that was so fucking crazy. It made all the players lose faith and stop running for him, stop working for him. And I think that's where we're at. The manager is so stubborn, won't bend at all. I think that's also contributed to the injuries. He's like so high octane that he can't just like ramp players back up. And also like we don't need to. We were playing a game, 2 games a week, and he still was like pedal to the metal. I think he's a contributor to that. I don't think it's all just bad luck at this point. So like it feels like what we've seen with the pressers. He's like super stubborn. He's lost his sense of humor. He's like very defensive. He's got his knives out every time they come for him. And I think that is not helping. So at this point, put us out of our misery. Let's get a fresh start. Let's change things up. It's a fresh start anyway. We're going to have a new CEO. We're going to have a new front office. Let's have a new coach. It gives the players a breath of fresh air as well.
But speaking of breath of fresh air, we should be honest here on the podcast about who is available right now. Because you're hearing. So here's the deal. You're hearing that he might stay. You're hearing Southgate hard. You're hearing Potter hard. Tuchel's like, hey, I want the job, but like there's not a lot of love back. So
Which I don't get.
It's
what's that about, sir? You think that's because he's too much of a heart? He's like a much more demanding individual than Potter or Southgate, who will just go with the flow and be happy to have the job.
In my opinion, which is worth nothing. Because I think I should play for the team, and I'm faster than half the players.
Wout Weghorst over here, bro. I'm gonna blitz him. I can't wait to run into Wout Weghorst someday. So you can pay him enough so you can race him.
We call it pretty straight on the pod, but Tuchel's it's Tuchel or bust. If you do a Potter, it's like you're
might as well take another year off.
No. No, I don't think so. I think that it's about the crowd. Right, it's about United fans at the moment, and United fans don't want to admit how bad we are. And I actually think we're so bad that you might need a Southgate or a Potter guy. Like that really is the move. Is like a loyal guy who they know, who's predictable, and then that will just eat crow in the press, and they'll back him, and he doesn't have to sweat. Just kind of like the opposite of what Chelsea has done with Poch and what we're doing with Erik ten Hag right now. It's basically we're going to back this guy for 3 years no matter what, and we're going to see what it is at the end. And that is kind of what we really need. And I think they're going to, Tuchel's the guy, he could be like a Klopp. Like, I don't think he's as good as Klopp, but he has got the potential to be a Klopp, to be here for 7 to 8 years if all goes well. And he could be the guy to handle it. He could wear it. He's got the shoulders for it. Like, he's that dude, right? He is kind of the just below the ranks of the Ancelottis, just below the ranks of the Zidans, just below the ranks of Klopp, just below. He's just there.
He's tier
and
1B.
he could break
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, I agree.
And if he breaks through it, and I think you just need that guy. Like you need the people I listed. You need them, and if you can't get them, then you need the guy who might be them, and you're gonna know. And so the risk is he could be that 1A type of coach, or he could fail miserably in 2 years, and you're right back where you started. But I think you're just searching for the next Klopp, the next Ancelotti, the next Zidane, you're looking for that guy because it's a unique job. There's like 4 jobs in the world that are as intense as this, maybe 5: Bayern, Real Madrid, Barca, United. That's really it. And it's like there's only certain people who can handle that job. And Potter can't handle it, and Southgate can't handle it. Tuchel might be able to handle it. And I think that's the only option we have. And if they're not interested in that and they go a Potter route, I think it's going to be press are going to be against them, the fans are going to be against them, or even Southgate, the same thing. Like universally, everyone hates him. No one's going to be down for this.
Seem to don't like. I mean, some older English fans seem to like him because he like quieted things down. But I think we always talk about the press are really easy on Southgate. That would change once he became a Manchester United manager. But you bring up a great point too, which is like. Forget the players, forget the press. It's like, what would United fans do? If United fans would not react positively if they were to appoint Potter or Southgate, whereas they would under Tuchel. They would be more than willing to give Tuchel a chance because Tuchel has the pedigree. He's won Champions League with Chelsea, and he's won stuff. He's actually won stuff outside of England. So I would go for Tuchel because, like I said, he could become an elite. He is on the border of an elite coach, right?
It's kind of the chump move, though, right? It is kind of like the
obvious
same
move.
we've done
I know,
before,
but now you have
and
a
then
front
the
office.
Potter or the Southgate is the actually changing it and
That's
rebuilding.
It's like an Ole.
Ole is a coach of Molde, bro. He's it's like he's not. Potter
Potter's a
managed
nobody.
Chelsea and
failed miserably.
and Brighton, right? And Southgate has done a decent job with England. Ole does not have that on his CV. Like he does not have a EPL successful.
If he was
run.
a former United player who won the treble, he would not be getting that job.
He got relegated with Cardiff, and he worked at
We don't
Molde.
have to put Ole.
But it's true. Ole's like an interim guy. He's a great interim vibes coach.
Yeah.
Like
He should be perfect for now.
You could literally bring in Ole for these 3 games and probably have a better chance.
Oh,
than
they'd
FA
win.
Cup final.
They'd win all the
And-
games. We'd win the final by far because he always beats.
But he's
City.
not Potter's a manager.
He's not a good manager.
Like he did well at Brighton. He failed at Chelsea. He's gonna get another shot, right? When it comes to Gareth Southgate, he failed with Middlesbrough. He did good with England, and then Southgate's gonna get a shot. He shouldn't be United.
That's the thing. Why
It
us?
shouldn't be. But like we
should
do
go coach
need
West
like
Ham, not United.
we need like a timeout. We need a timeout from the Tuchels and the win now. We do need that, and that's what those guys are. Is like trusty
Interim.
Englishmen who know Ineos and that are going to do whatever they want and eat crow. And that could be the way to go. And Ineos, I feel like they know that they need to do that, and they fear what the fans are going to say. And then the Tuchel's like the red meat for the fans. Like, okay,
Let's go. We're gonna compete this year. We're gonna compete next year.
And so which one's right? What would you do?
I would do neither. I would do the more of what you're talking about, not the high profile, I'd go like Kieran McKenna. I go a guy who's like kind of in between. He's not a bust like Potter or Southgate, but he's also not as much of an ego because he hasn't won as much as a Tuchel. But he has quality. But you also know that like it's no big right. It's gonna be a mess for the next couple of years. So you put someone in who's competent. They haven't hit that level yet.
He's not available though. He's not.
If Manchester United was like, hey, bro, you want me to coach at Manchester United?
He just got promoted twice.
I know, but that's why he's shown it.
To leave Ipswich would be like
it would be a slap in the face. It
would
would be a bad look as a coach. But
I don't think he would leave. So I agree but I don't think that's viable. So between the viable options I laid out,
Then
and also Hansi Flick is available, right?
Is he a good manager?
He won a bunch of things with Bayern Munich, and he's like not like failed at Germany though.
Or you can get one of these 40-year-olds, right? That guy at Sporting. Like, there's all these, 40-year-olds around.
You get that guy.
That guy.
Hey, that guy.
The guy Liverpool tried to get who said no to them.
That guy?
And the reason they hired.
Does he have a beard? Does he wear his T-shirts sometimes?
He has a beard.
Which is it?
T-shirts sometimes. He probably wears cool sneakers because he's Portuguese.
So I know you're talking about it. I do not know his name either, which is why it's funny.
Yeah, because
but he does
call
not.
us if you know his name.
He does not want to leave. So in my opinion, the guy for the job is Ancelotti. And
are you crazy?
he won.
He's one of the best managers of all time,
and that's why we need it. We need you need someone who is unimpeachable. We're gonna struggle. Questions can be asked of Tuchel, and that's the problem. Is we need someone at Old Trafford who is above reproach. Like his CV is so solid, it cannot be questioned. Therefore, every decision he makes is correct, and he needs to get rid of players, keep players, and then we need to just double down on what he thinks. That's why Southgate doesn't deserve it. That's why Potter doesn't deserve it. That's why Ten Hag is not doing a great job. That is also why Tuchel might be the guy to deserve it, but we don't know.
There's so
and
few
it's
of those
you
guys,
need
sir.
a Zidane, you need a Ancelotti, you need that tier. You just got to throw money at the problem, sir. You just got to throw money at it, and you got to get you need somebody like that who literally is unimpeachable. You need a Klopp, you need an Ancelotti, you need
Tuchel.
a Zidane.
The closest to that is Tuchel.
Exactly, and I think
because
that's
Ancelotti
what we'll
ain't
do.
available, bro. He ain't leaving Real Madrid.
I
when
know
they're
he's not available,
back-to-back
but you
Champions
need
League.
somebody like that who literally the players can't question.
No, I like that. And I think that's the closest we can get today is Tuchel. Availability.
And that sucks.
I know, but that's where we're
That
at,
sucks.
bro.
It sucks, but that's where look. Hey,
We're not gonna be able to poach Ancelotti.
I agree.
Maybe a decade
Zidane's
ago.
out there, by the way.
Zidane is not coming to Manchester United, bro.
Zizou.
He's only been high flying Zizou too. So
Another bald man doubled down.
This is going to be the big story of the summer. When they fire, do they fire him? We're hearing both hot and heavy. He could stay. He could go. We're hearing a lot of both sides. So
I think he gone, bro.
I think he
gone.
Yes,
And
you and I
I think
both
they're
agree.
feverishly working because they do not know who to replace him with. And this is where Ineos is literally going to get the biggest heat is because they, I think, are not dealing with this manager situation, right? And they're actually not firing him to buy them more time because they do not know the solution. Right now, they do not know.
And they're trying to get Ashworth in. They're trying to get all the other pieces in. And they're like, you guys figure out who to hire. We're hiring you to figure out who to hire next. Shout out to the women's team picking up the FA Cup. At least somebody's doing United proud. So good for them. They rolled Spurs today at Wembley 4-0.
Dude, let's go.
Shout out.
Let's go.
Something.
It's a trophy in the bank.
There you go.
Jumping to the fan questions at Justin_Carr. But how about those United women? World-class drubbing. Calling it out here. Calling it out on the podcast. Big shout out. FA Cup going up. I mean, that's a big accomplishment.
That's big.
At Oscars Pop, quote, stayed in it after conceding, which is a nice change. Onana came up big when needed, but the attack minus Bruno was toothless. We do miss Bruno out there. At Randy Scrandy L, coming in hot. Manchester United played their hearts out just to lose 1-0. It's hilarious. I could have napped 90 minutes of my life I won't get back. 14 Premier League losses this year. Unreal embarrassments. It's been a tough year. Tough year all around. Nowhere to hide for anyone as part of this team. At Fairway Freddy, loss after loss, and this loss is somehow tolerable.it. It's pathetic. The defeat was coming in its lack of humiliation. Take the win, but don't laugh at us. It's not the hope that kills us. It's the stink of mediocrity that chokes us always next season. I mean,
hello, darkness.
It's the stink of hey, I got a bit of that. I've been harsh on this team. I've been harsh on this manager. It's not fun. And this season's been rough. It's because you look at that badge and we should be competing for things and we're just a joke. And it's to the point where fans of other rival teams don't even talk smack because it's not even relevant anymore because they've just done it. And it's just it's over. We are not relevant. And it's
At
next season,
we'll be back. Come on, baby. We'll be back. We're always back. It's just that we have no hope this season because every time we've been shit, we turn up for a random game, play well. Pip City. It's just, we haven't even had those fun, come from behind wins like we even had with Ole. Remember, even with Ole at the end, they were still getting these random fun wins. We haven't had any of that. It's been joyless.
The sweet ain't so sweet without the bitter. And this is the bitter. And this is the mid-table United bitterness that we're going to swallow. And that when we're back, it will be better than ever. When Manchester United are clicking and we're winning things and we're going to Champions League semifinals and we're raising Premier League titles, sir, all will be right in the world. But right now, it's just ass backwards. And goddamn.
Thanks.
God damn, it's been tough to swallow, but we've been doing our best here at the America Doubles podcast. That is it. That is the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate everyone. Week in, week out, sir, doing the business here. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/AmericaRedDevils, AmericaDevils.com for your blog content, AmericaDevils.store. Make Alex ship you something from his garage. Sir, give us our top 10 cities last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? Dublin, Ireland, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Melbourne, Australia, Brooklyn, New York, Manchester, England, Phoenix, Arizona, Houston, Texas, Oslo, Norway, and last but not least, Charlotte, North Carolina. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do without you. Almost there. 2 games left in the league. FA Cup final. Big summer ahead.
Also, big shout out to all the moms, mothers out there. It is Mother's Day, and a big shout out to our wives who are doing big work for us to record the podcast. Alex is feverishly looking at his phone like he's about to get cooked when we
I got till
finish this
3,
podcast.
baby. I got till 3. Let's go. We got 3 minutes left.
All
to
right.
the wire.
All right, we're going to leave you with 20 times, 20 times. Everyone have a great week. On to Newcastle.